JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 9th of November 2020, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos. And of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yeah, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. Now, jumping into the charts. Now, of course, the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei. Now, of course, looking at this picture, we can see a nice, beautiful continuation move here to the upside. So it seems that the markets are, let's say, taking the whole Biden victory nicely so far, I would say. So of course, don't get me wrong, we'll see how this week is getting along, because again, we do have some key levels that we are approaching on some other indices, especially the US ones. I'll pick up on the US ones later on today in my traders tea time, 14:15 GMT. But looking at Nikkei, you can see that it managed to nicely overcome this 24,448 territory, which I've mentioned to you guys last week. And that level, let me just show you what that level is or was. That was the highest point of 2018. Now, where we are right now, if I jump into, let me jump into a monthly chart actually. So this is where we are right now. So we're basically trading nicely above this highest point of 2018, and well, I mean, previously that was seen as the kind of that let's say the all-time high for the period from 1991 basically, or 1992 I would say. But now of course the all-time high is right here, but it was reached back here in the 1990 in January or December, if I'm not mistaken, right here. So but basically it got hit then, but at the moment, I mean, we are still far from that all-time high, but still Nikkei is showing good results, climbing back up. And in a way, looking at this monthly chart, we can probably assume that the next little target here, or I wouldn't say maybe a little, but good potential target here would be this, the lowest point here of April 2090. Oh, sorry, 1990, and the highest point of March of 1991, guys. I mean, this is very, let's say, unusual to look at these levels, but I mean, of course, levels are levels, and for now, basically, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to continue targeting the upside, especially if it continues to balance above the highest point of 2018. Now, the next little aim here could be this, the highest point of October near the of 1991, and that's roughly around the 25,254 level. So very good potential target here to consider. We're not far from that, and so let's see if we can actually reach that. Basically, keep your eyes on the daily chart, of course. on some of these levels. If by any chance the price suddenly starts dropping back below the below this 24,448 territory, now this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for the sellers, because we could go for a bit of a larger correction here to the downside. So again, we are, like I said, at a very interesting spot here. My next target is this 25,000 where is that, 254 level, and then of course we'll take it from there, guys. But at the moment, let's keep it short and simple. And like I said, if it suddenly drops back below the 24,448 zone right here, then yes, we could consider maybe a bit of a decline. Now, Shanghai Composite, unlike Nikkei, Shanghai Composite looks a little bit more moderate. However, on the positive note, you can see that it closed today above this 3,368 territory I talked about previously. Now, this was basically a good resistance level that I saw here. It was the high. It's the high of the 7th of September, also marked near the highest point of October, and we managed to climb above it today. So basically, in other words, this idea here worked out. Not maybe not the a test of this upside line, but a push above this 3,280 zone right here, the one that I talked about last week. So what I was saying last week, that if we get a nice push above it, then the next target here is this 3,368 level. So again, you can see that we reached that area nicely. Now the big question here is, can we actually continue aiming higher? For now, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue aiming higher. My next target is the upper side of this range here, where the index is currently trading in. So, and that's roughly around the 3,457 mark. So let's keep an eye on that one, guys. Like I said, it could be quite interesting. But if by any chance the price starts falling back below the 3,326 territory right here, now this is where maybe we could go for a bit of a correction here to the downside towards this this upside support line taken from the low of the 19th of March. So keep your eyes on that one, and let's see how all this is going to play out. Now jumping into German DAX, the index on Friday closed slightly in the negative zone. However, it still remained above the 200-day EMA, and basically it's kind of stayed in this area. So in a way, there's a lot of still a lot of positivity around it. Now looking at the cash index right now and where it's currently balancing at, we can see that the price is currently sitting at around 12,720-25 zone. So basically, it's currently sitting somewhere around here, near this high of the 23rd of October. So in other words, yes, good result, good movement, but we're still below this downside line taken from the high of the 3rd of September. Now, of course, if the other indices will continue traveling higher, we could see the German DAX also pushing higher. But for now, from the technical side, I would actually prefer to wait for a violation of this downside line first before kind of, let's say, getting a little bit more excited with the upside. So yep, that's why for now, let's keep an eye on this one. Let's see how all this is going to play out. But yep, for now, guys, it is pushing higher. It will have a nice opening gap here to the upside. Yep, let's see if this downside line gets broken. If it does, then keep your eyes on the 13,000 mark. And if we get a nice push above that, then yes, higher levels could be met. DXY. The dollar index, so you can see that it's pushing nicely to the downside, so it's trading nicely below this 92.47 territory, which is great news for the sellers. For now, let's put it this way: as long as it remains below this area, below this 92.47 territory right here, yes, I'll continue targeting the downside, and especially the lowest point of September near the 91.75 territory right here, and then we'll take it from there, because if it pushes below that area again, then yes, of course, this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and the next potential target here could be this 90.93 level, marked by the marked by the high of the 1st of March of 2018, and also, if I'm not mistaken, that's the highest point of March of 2018. So good potential target, but again, we need some clearances first before kind of aiming for that area. For now, like I said, if the price remains below this 92.47 territory, then yes, further declines are possible. Now, jumping into gold, gold is pushing nicely as well to the upside. Of course, weaker dollar means better results here for gold. The only little thing here, what I'm going to keep an eye on for now, is probably this little idea right here. So we could see a further move north, but if it struggles, for example, to overcome this 1972 territory, then we might see maybe a bit of a setback here, or maybe a push lower, maybe towards this 1933 level again, and then of course we could consider maybe a possible rebound if this area does provide good support. If it doesn't, then if it starts falling lower and nope, not this one. Oh, grabbed the wrong line. So I wanted to grab this arrow. So if it starts dropping somewhere below the 1877 territory again, that would place the, first of all, that of course that would place the price back below this downside line. And then yes, maybe lower levels here could be met if we, like I said, if we get a nice drop below this 1877 territory, which is, as you can see, marked by an inside swing high here of the 24th of September, and was also near the lows of the 6th and 7th of October. So yeah, that's why, again, with the downside, guys, I mean, unless it remains, or I wouldn't say unless, but if it remains above this downside line here, then yes, any move lower here could be seen as a temporary correction. But if it breaks back below this downside line and falls below the 1877 territory, now this is where more sellers could join in. WTI Oil. So this upside line, look at this beautiful technical situation here, technical picture, I would even say. The low of the line, this upside line taken from the low this 9th of September, continues to provide decent support, and you can see that yes, after a nice reversal back up here, the commodity drifted higher, tested the 100-day EMA here shown as the green line, but didn't really have enough strength to travel further north and reversed back down. But as you can see, this upside line did provide good support. So what I'm going to do here right now is I will probably wait for a push above the 39.23 level first, because you can see that this area kind of did provide good resistance. So, and also this is where the 100-day EMA here sits. So basically, just to be a little bit more on the safe side, I will wait for a nice good pop above it. This move, of course, will confirm a forthcoming higher high here, and yep, my next target here could be this this key barrier near the 41.46 level that I talked a lot about previously. In terms of the downside, I would like to see, of course, a drop back below this upside line, and a drop below the lowest point of October. Is that, sorry, just, no, that's not the lowest point of October, that's the low of the 2nd of October, near the 36.66 level right here. And then we could aim for some downside, some lower levels here, but again, like I said, for now, be very careful, be very cautious, and like I said, let's see how this is going to play out. But yep, for now it's leaning a little bit more towards the positive side, but to get a little bit more positive with this idea of the upside, we need to see a nice good push above the 39.23 level. Now Ripple is well, doing nothing, and basically this is what I talked about last week. Now basically Ripple, it was not really performing well, and in general, I mean, comparing to the other major cryptos, Ripple is kind of on the modest side, on a very modest side, I would say, and in order to aim for that higher level, I would still like to see a nice good pop above the 0.26 territory, and not only a pop, I would like to see a nice daily candle staying above it, because we keep getting these overshoots, we keep getting these false breakouts, and to be honest, it's not really working well here for the buyers. So if we do get a nice daily candle staying above the 0.26 territory, now this is where maybe it could attract more attention from the buyers. But until then, it's really difficult, and even with the downside, for me, I will take a very conservative approach for the downside, and probably wait for a drop below the 0.2288 zone right here before, let's say, examining lower areas. And yeah, just because, like I said, this area did provide good support recently. And of course, if you're now if you know where I'm heading right now, so basically we are seeing a nice range here. So in other words, if you want to aim for the next directional move, wait until this until the price gets out of the range, because at the moment it's just stuck here. AUDJPY. AUDJPY is showing very good kind of movement for in terms of kind of moving higher. It's breaking this downside line, or I should say it broke again this downside line, and is now trying to climb above this 75.48 territory right here. If you want to round it up towards the 50, you can do that if you're feeling a little bit more comfortable with that level. So if we get a nice further push north here, then yes, of course, we'll target higher areas. And as you can see here by the arrow that I've drawn, my next target is the 76.52 territory, which is marked by the highest point of October, actually. So and then I'll take it from there. If we do see that move, then that's wonderful. Like I said, I'll reevaluate this again, but for now I'm going to keep it short and simple. USDCHF. Now, of course, the US dollar is drifting lower. That's putting a bit of pressure here on this pair as well. So USDCHF is moving to the downside, and looking at this picture, you can see that, for example, on Friday the daily candle stayed below this lowest point of August, guys, and it basically, the pair created a new low for this year, and basically, of course, this confirms a forthcoming lower low, and the fact that it created a new low for this year, this kind of raises concerns here for the bulls, and basically it increases the chances for further declines. Now, if we look at some lower areas right now and try to find a good potential target on the downside here, well, we have to scroll back here, way back here into 2014, guys. So, and for this, probably let me just jump into a monthly chart, because it's getting squeezed here a little bit. So yeah, now you can see here, this is a monthly chart, and basically our prices right now here, it's trying to go for a lower low, and basically for now I'm gonna keep an eye on this. I'm gonna keep an eye on these two areas here. The lowest point of March and the lowest point of May, and of course, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's in general that's the lowest point of 2014. So that lowest point of 2014 is roughly around here, near the 0.8699 level, or actually we can round it up towards the 0.87 mark. So that's going to be my next target, especially if the price here remains, or not the price, but the rate remains below this lowest point of August, near the 0.18, which is 0.90 level right here. So keep your eyes on this one, could be quite interesting. In terms of the upside, if you want to be a little bit more on the cautious side, you could wait for a break of this downside line right here, this tentative downside resistance line, taken from the high of the 28th of September. Of course, we also have this barrier here, the 0.9198 territory, so or 0.92, let's round it up a little bit. So if you want to get a little bit more excited and careful with the upside, then probably wait for a break above this area, because all this area right here will be somewhat of a neutral one for us. GBPUSD. GBPUSD is pushing nicely to the upside. Of course, weaker US dollar is helping out this pair, but let me just clear up this chart a little bit, because I need to have a fresh look on this one. So basically, for now, what I'm keeping an eye on is, of course, this upside support line, taken from the low here of this 18th of May of this year. This upside support line, it might be maybe a bit of a tentative one, don't get me wrong, because we're kind of really catching these lows here but skipping this one, so that's why it's just I would say, have to admit, this just looks a little bit more better, not more better, but just better, because it has more touches. But again, it's every upside line, every trend line is sometimes can be very subjective. So guys, you be the judge for yourselves. So you kind of know what you want to draw, but just like I said, try to kind of justified why you're drawing it and why you're having it this way or not that way. In my case here, I have it this way because again, it just has more touches on it. So of course the upside line continues to provide good support. The other positive aspect of this is that the pair right now has broken the highest point of October here. And yep, it's currently trading above that area, and that highest point of October is near the 1.3177 territory. So basically, if the rate continues to stay here above this, then my next target actually could be even this highest point of September near the 1.3483 level. In between here, we also have good areas of resistance, potential good areas of resistance. One of which could be this one right here. The high of the 7th of September near the 1.3287. So keep your eyes on down. In terms of the downside, well, I would prefer to maybe wait for at least a drop below the 1.3093 level right here in order to go for a bit of a correction to the downside. I'm not talking about like heavy downside here, but just a correction towards this upside line. So basically, if we get a drop below Friday's low, which is roughly around the 1.3093 territory, then yes, we could consider a bit of a decline here. Now, quickly jumping into EUROTRY before I run out of time again. Basically, guys, I'll have to rush through this a little bit. So EUROTRY, look at this beautiful move. I mean, I talked about waiting for that confirmation signal, guys. Yes, we are getting that signal. The only thing is that we already had a decent drop here. Wait for this daily candle. If we do see this one staying below this upside line, then there is a chance for this one to drift lower. Don't get me wrong, still the fundamentals are against the Turkish lira, but from the technical side, for now, you can see that there is a potential for this one to move lower. Don't try to chase it. Don't get me wrong, because we might see this one. It's just the beginning of the day right now here in Europe, so we might see this one reversing back up here a little bit, maybe hanging around here, and then maybe getting another drop here. But again, for now, that's the idea. So let's see how this is gonna end up being today. If the daily candle stays below this upside line, well, guys, I mean, maybe we'll get that nice reversal signal again, and yep, we could consider some higher levels. So higher levels, some lower levels. Now, EURCHF still up. If you remember, I looked at this one last week, and the end of last week, and basically I was saying that wait for this one to kind of make a move, because it's stuck here in between these two lines. In a way, it's showing that it's coiling up right now, so that's why I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna wait for a clear breakthrough one of these lines first. And finally, EURUSD, so continues to push nicely to the upside, slowly, of course. It's, I would say, grinding higher. So it has managed to climb above this 1.1867 territory. So now it kind of increases its chances for a further push north. What could happen here? The pair could travel a little bit higher, test this 1.1917 level that I talked about last week, which is the high of the 10th of September. If it fails to move above that straight away, given that we had already a decent kind of push higher here, so basically, for now, guys, for now we'll keep an eye on this one, and of course it's going to be quite interesting to see if we can actually reach this 1.1917 level. If it provides good resistance straight away, then we might see a bit of a correction here, like I said, given that we had a nice decent rally here to the upside last week. So maybe a bit of a setback here could be healthy for this pair. But of course, if it continues to travel higher above this 1.1917 level, don't get me wrong, my next target is the that psychological 120 zone, and then we'll take it from there. If it falls back below this 1.1867 territory, I'll take a bit of a neutral stand, because I'll probably wait for a drop below the 1.1787 level, somewhere around there. I might kind of revise this level, but for now, that's what I'm gonna keep an eye on. So guys, I I really hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, guys. I really do. Thank you very much for joining in, and if you want to catch my video later on, my trader's tea time is always 14:15 GMT. For now, have a wonderful trading day, guys, and have a good start of this week, and then we'll take it from there. So we'll pick up on my trader's tea time 14:15 GMT. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.